Hello, welcome to Photoshop Quicklabs. In today's video, we will be going over the next of our selection tools, which is the Lasso selection tools. For today's video, we will be using Adobe Photoshop CC 2025. We will also be working in Workspace Essentials Default. I also would like to give a shout out to photographer Brooke Lark, who took this photograph that I was able to download off of Unsplash. Our lasso selection tools are located right underneath the last tool we went over, which is a marquee selection tool. And as you can see, I still have my tooltips activated, so you can watch a short video on how to use these tools effectively. If I wanted to reset this tool, all I would need to do is do the drop down, go to the gear, and then go ahead to reset the tool. And this will take our menu back to the default standard. Now, the lasso selection tool is a freehand draw selection that you can do with your mouse, or if you are on a drawing pad, so that you can make a selection freehand. And as you can see, I've just drawn a circle. I held and drew a circle as best as I could around, but as you can see, it's definitely not a perfect selection. So this is something that you would use when you really want to freehand draw something or make a selection that's rough and not really accurate. So again, with all the tools, you do have this little part of the menu which allows you to make a new selection, add to selection, subtract, or intersect the selection. Right now I am on new selection, so if I start another selection, I'm definitely going to lose my other one. Now if I do add to selection, I'm going to go ahead and be able to add to that selection. And then if I subtract from the selection, I'll be able to take away from the selection. And then the intersect is just going to take whatever I take from both of those selections and bring it to me. So there we have the ways in which we can use the lasso tool. Now if we click down on our lasso tool, we can see that we have several other options for our lasso selections. We also have the polygon lasso tool, so I'm going to go over to that. And this is basically a more angular way to make selections. This is great for, let's say, architectural photographs or photographs where you're taking, you want to select geometrical shapes. So I would simply click on the starting point and then move my line over to where I want to have my next point, and then click down, click down, click down, click down. And then I would come down here and then go all the way over to close my selection. When I get near to the area where I can close my selection, the icon will get that little circle at the bottom so that I can see that I'm closing the selection. So as you can see, this is where you can make some very geometric shapes, so it is really great for architectural photographs. And again, you have the same thing. You can do the add, the subtract, or the intersect of the selection. And then below that we have the magnetic lasso tool. So what this does is it tries to look at the area that you are, or the object in the area where you're trying to draw your selection, and it will try to snap to the edges of that selection. Now this is again a freehand selection, so using either your mouse, or if you're on a drawing pad you can do this. It would probably be more accurate with your drawing pad. But you would click and then just kind of draw around the area where you want to select, and Photoshop is looking at that area and saying, okay, the border looks like it's here, so I am going to follow that, and then we would close it out. Now this is kind of a good tool. It does actually make some adjustments in terms of if you're a little bit in or out, but it is very easy to go out of the bounds. So let me, for example, show you. If I just start my selection here and I accidentally start picking up part of the other side of this fruit and all I wanted was the interior, as you can see, if my hand just wavers a little bit, it's easily gonna lose where the edges of that object are. And that is our magnetic lasso tool. There is one last tool in the polygon selection toolkit, and that is the selection brush tool. This is fairly new in the Photoshop world, and it is pretty much like making a quick mask, and you'll be able to make a selection just by brushing. But again, this is freehand. It is not looking at the area and making the selection for you. You are actually brushing the area in. Depending on the type of license that you have, you may have an option to do something like generative fill, which is here in our floating tool menu. So we can click on that, and then with AI you can type in, I would like, make it black or make it red, or you can say, a frog or something. So basically AI will fill in this area for you. Unfortunately, the licenses we have are enterprise licenses, so they do not have the AI generation available for them. So I wouldn't be able to show you that option. But if you do have the standard license, you should be able to take advantage of this generative fill. So we're going to cancel out of that. And that is basically a rundown of our lasso tools. And in the next video, we will be going over the object selection tool. And that is where I will do a full video on the select and mask button that you can use in all three of these tools. See you then.